Okay, all right. Yeah, so I was looking forward to talking to you, but of course you couldn't make it. So I have to maybe I could get your number and talk to you a little bit more about it. Or
do you have time today? That's why I'm here right now.
Oh, oh, okay, yeah, absolutely.
That's what the call is really about, to just kind of, hear what you have, and then just kind of, share what I think you could do, the direction that you could potentially go, and just to give you some tools that'll help put you in the right direction, if that makes sense.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know about SCORE. I don't know if that's something you would suggest or not.
Well, tell me where you are right now. So you have a dressing. Have you patented your dressing? Do you have any copyrights to this dressing? Have you trademarked this dressing?
None of the above. I just make it and use it and let family and friends, use it.
So, but you want to do something with it, right? You want
Exactly.
to. Okay. So the first thing that I would look at is talking to like a legal advisor. And I know that sounds expensive, or you maybe not. Maybe you can do it on your own. I know I'm learning more about the Moors, and they're very industrious when it comes to the legal area. But you want to go in and you want to make the necessary. You want to make sure that it's yours and no one else can claim it or use it. That you want to make sure that it's proprietary, right? And then you also want to develop a brand and a name for it. So have you been toying around with a name?
Yes, I have been thinking about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me what you got.
Well, I was gonna try to incorporate my daughter, my grandson, and my great grandbaby's name together.
Okay.
And use that as a name, and also I was thinking about my name, a version of my name, but I haven't decided what I had. Let's see. I think what I came up, I was thinking about this just the other day, and I didn't write it down. I can't even think. I'd have to sit down. And
no worries. The thing is that you want to have a name. And you want to have a catchy name, something that people will remember. And so you want to think, is this dressing going to be its own brand? Is this dressing going to be one product under a brand line? So meaning you have your main company's name, and then you have many different product brands. I think you can see my screen, and I'll pull my whiteboard up here, but. So, an example, and don't laugh at my little drawings, because, they're kind of crazy. But, this is kind of like your main, company. I don't know, whatever that name is going to be, right? And then you have many different brands. So today it may just be dressing, but, the reality is tomorrow it can be another flavor dressing, or maybe it's a ketchup, or a hot sauce, or mustard. Or maybe it's something that goes with the dressing. So, it depends on how you want to build it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So the idea is scalability.
I had been thinking about using some different spices to make a different flavor. So I have been thinking along those terms.
Yes, step out there, because listen, I remember reading an article about a company that started out with some type of bacon something they did with bacon. And they found out that people they were going crazy over this bacon. So they started putting bacon in everything, and they started making all of these products, and they went from like 2 guys in their basement to having like this $1 million business. So if you have, this dressing that's amazing and people love it, then, this is the time you can have your own like taste test group, bring all the people, everybody around in the group that's there, and you stop them before class is over, and you say, now y'all have to test, and you make them close their eyes, and you test it out to see what's good, what's not, and get people involved, and then you can grow your product line, and it can be so much bigger than just having one small thing. The idea is to grow yourself and grow your business so that you're leaving your legacy, behind something absolutely amazing.
I understand totally, and I think I will make some and bring some next week and let them taste it here.
Tell them they can thank me later.
I think that's excellent advice, dear. I really appreciate it. And I guess, what would you suggest the next step I take?
I want you to solidify a name. Decide. I want you to really create a plan for yourself. So if this is something you're serious about and something you're going to do, I'm going to tell you what I told Brother Kenny, and I told somebody else as well. When you're thinking about starting a business, you really have to treat it like it's a real live newborn child. I mean, like, how would you treat the baby that you gave birth to with the woman that you were madly in love with? You know what I'm saying? And you have to nurture this business. You've got to nurture it in a way that you wouldn't normally think. You got to research to make sure you're doing everything around the business, holding the business right, feeding it right, growing the business. It's no different than having, raising a child. So you really have to see it for who it is today, but also putting seeds in it that growing that business so that it not just sustains you, but it sustains you and your legacy. It sustains you and your family for generations to come. So you got to make it bigger. You can't think small.
I got you. I got you. That's excellent advice. Excellent advice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that gives me something to start with.
Yeah,
so next time I talk with you, I'll have a name.
Yes. And I want you to make it yours, have a name, have maybe 2 or 3 products, and start thinking about what you want your brand to look like. What you want it, depending on your name, what do you want your brand to look like? Start looking at brands online. I mean, that's something I think that you would really benefit from. So like famous brands, and just so that you can get an idea of what you want to do with your brand. And it can be something even as simple as, I don't know, my computer is moving kind of slow. Hold on one second.
Okay.
And even looking at famous recipe brands, or famous dressing brands, or anything that's going to get you in. You just want to see what other people are doing so that you can say, you know what, for me, this represents me, or this represents what I want to give back to, my people, because that's who's purchasing your products and your brands. And I really just want to say, I get really excited when I talk about business. I really want this is really what I want you to do. And this is for anybody that I talk to this evening. I really, honestly, and truly want you to invest into these little boards you see on my wall. They're everywhere in my house, okay? I have no decorations. It's serious business over here. It's a war zone. And it's all about creating my ideal life. I do realize that I have the power to do so. So I want you to start writing it out. Like, build your org chart of what you want your life to be like, what you want your career, your business, your product, your organization. Create your org chart just like I just did. Look right here. Hey, this is my company, and this may not be a product. This may be a different company that you plan to own. Hello. So you write it out so that you can see it every day, and it's in your subconscious, whether you're paying attention to it or not, and then you add to it and you take away, and you can just kind of see how the universe really does come together and allows you to create exactly what it is that you're looking to do, and put the right people in front of you at the same time. So I just wanted to just say that that's something that I would always tell anybody to do that's really looking to start a business. Okay. So I wanted to look up recipe, brands, and I spelled recipe wrong as usual. Let me let them move. And then I'm going to just look at the images just so you can kind of see what some of the brands look like. And then you can kind of see, and when I say look at your brands, I'm talking about your logo, because when you're creating a name, You know, it doesn't matter what type of name that you create, but you want to make sure that this is something that that makes people want to buy, right? So like your main company name can be anything you want, but what you name your product, you might want to add a little bit of life to it, a little bit of flavor, or, you know, something that really makes you stand out or makes the personality of your brand stand out. So, you know, it can be anything. Here's a sweet recipe brand. You know, how this is how they're kind of looking, how their logo and how they package their products. So you just kind of got to go online and kind of get an idea of what represents you. Do you want, you know, some people, we had Mr. Clean, had the guy with the muscles, right?
Right.
You know, I mean, everybody's got their own thing, so you got to see what's going to be great for you.
Okay. Name and logo, two things that are very important that I need to come up with first.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And you got to see your vision. You want to see your vision. See it. Put it on. It's not enough to have it here. You got to write it down. You got to write it and you got to make it big. I'm telling you, it will change everything for you.
I believe you. I believe you. You know, every seminar that I've been to, or anytime I've gotten information on doing something, they always say, write it down, and they say, envision it.
Yes.
And just like you said, you know, write it, and they say put it up so you can see it every day. Yes. All those things you say every time I have been.
It really works.
Yeah.
It does.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you.
Well, I've got some basics to start with, and I really could I possibly get your number?
Yes, you can. I'll let Brother Kenny give it to you, if that's okay.
Okay.
Because we're recording this. Yeah.
Have a blessed evening.
Thank you. You too. Thank you so much. Okay. Mobile drug testing. And they have these, and this is just exactly like your business. So basically with the mobile drug testing, they go in and do drug tests, urine tests, they do STD tests at your home. They come and they come and do the syringes and everything. They do everything at your home. And then they take it to a lab, get it processed, and then you get your results back. And you're doing something very similar. You know, what you do is in the same way they do it online. You have a phone number and a website. That's all you need. And you don't need an elaborate website. You just have a one-page website where they can call, either list your number, or they can make an appointment and pay. They can pay and make an appointment on a website for you. And on a schedule that you open only, they schedule their stuff, or have their nurse or doctor schedule their stuff, or somebody call it in and put it on the calendar, and then you go out to their location. And then what you do is you give yourself a radius, and you say that I perform this service within a certain mile radius. But if somebody wants to go beyond that mile radius, then you charge them extra, you know? And a lot of times the insurance companies will pay for that. You got to call and ask. And then you could add other things onto that, like, you know, maybe not just the massage therapy, but what other things would your audience need? If you're working with the elders, what are some of the things that elders need on a consistent basis? You can be that person to not just provide the massage therapy, but therapy goes way further than just massages. You know, it can be life therapy or heart therapy. And when I mean heart therapy, just time, or recipe therapy, or I don't know, but therapy is more than just the touchy-feely stuff too. And I can tell that since you're there, you go far beyond just the touchy-feely stuff.
Yes, because it's a healing mode, you know. It's called the warming hands is what it is that I have for those type of people and people in general, you know, for the ones. I call it healing hands, really.
I love that. Oh, I love that. I love
And
that.
then it comes with a lot of insight of the spiritual with the individual people that I'm dealing with, and on site that nobody knows about, but just the person that I'm dealing with and me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's been in my life, you see. But I don't want to go the system way, because the system way has a lot of takeout.
So what's the system way? What's the system way?
The system way is like, you know, they have a program where you do it their way and not your way.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's already lined it out. They want you to go their way. But my way is not their way like that, you know. It's going into the homes, like I said. And I like what you got here, mobile drug testing, because I never seen that site. I heard that way, you see. But now I can draw a picture in my mind.
Here it is, mobile drug testing, and I'll give you even so you can see there are a lot of places that actually do the mobile drug testing. That's something that you could also offer, because a lot of elders do not know how to, you know, they can't get around. They're not as mobile as, you know, we would want them to be. Anything that your audience need, you can help with. Now, I know this may be a little touchy subject, but I can't, you know, bypass this. Portland is legal on the state level with the marijuana, the medical marijuana. I'm not sure what the law is there, but there are medical marijuana delivery services out there. And as a matter of fact, I mean, in the atmosphere, in the world. So I don't know what the law is for Portland, and you can do your research, but I'm heading out to California this summer to start my own cannabis medical delivery service. So if you're doing the massages, and some of the people that you're doing the massages for have a medical card, you know, you could provide that as well, and that can also be additional income for you. And that's really warming hands, healing hands. You know, you would definitely need to do your research and learn about, you know, what type of cannabis is right for a person, because there are two different types that are typically sold, the sativa and some make you really hyper, some make you really sleepy. So if they get that card, you need to know. But it's not a lot of learning, because I took the class and became certified to consult and to teach if I really wanted to. So, you know, you could add that on. That would be a huge boost for your business as well. And selling candles, there's a lot of things you could do. And it could be your way, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. I appreciate that. I didn't see it that way, okay, D?
Yes.
That's the way, now, but I can get vision real fast, you know. So I got a vision inside of what you're saying there.
Yeah, awesome.
And I never looked at it that way, though. It extended.
Yeah. I love that.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Awesome.
Well, I'll get your number from Brother Kenny, too, and everything, you know.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, because I just got a big picture by you talking to me and everything. I just seen a big picture.
I love it.
Within my spirit, yeah.
I love it. Oh, I love that.
I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from, and I will be calling you, because I do like to ask questions.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hi, Sister D. How you doing?
Hi. How are you?
Okay.
But
so, what are we supposed to be doing?
Tell me Tell me where you have a business idea?
Oh yeah, I'm into the limousine service and town car service.
Okay.
And I already got in with most of the doormen and you know, the car hustlers.
Okay. And so, okay. So what do you want to do with the business? What do you want to do differently with it? What do you like about it, and what don't you like about it right now? What, if you could change one thing, what would it be?
I don't see anything that I don't like about it. You know, it's very simple. It's very easy to do, and it's not no headache. You know, just take people from A to B, and you're through with it.
Are you making as much money as you want to make? Are you happy with the amount of money that you're making?
Oh yeah, well the money is
is tremendous. Thing of it is that when you're working for someone else, they make all the money, and we got to settle for the crumbs.
Right.
So I'm basically interested in getting all the money and dishing out the crumbs.
Okay, awesome. So do you have your own vehicle that you own right now?
No, ma'am, not at this point in time, but
okay.
I do believe that it won't be too long.
Okay, so there's some things. So when you say you believe it won't be too long, that's great. So let's start planning around that. So that means that you're going to start building your own company, right? Where you're going to have your own cars and your own things like that. So, do you know where you're going to house the vehicles? Do you know what your car service is going to be called? Do you know, what areas you want to be in? Are you going to stay local? Do you want to go, further out into other places? Do you want this company to be small? Do you want it to be really big? Do you want to just do cars, town cars? Do you want to do party buses? Do you want to do tour buses? Do you want to do flights? Do you want to, so like you have options. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, I'm leaning more towards the airport. Not so interested in the tour, even though I do know that there's quite a bit of money in that. And I just might peak that, but at this point in time, I'm just really interested because I've done most of my concentrating contacts with the valets and the bellmen and the concierge.
Okay, so that's perfect. So, and that's a perfect place to be. So really, what you really want to do right now is to start thinking about what you want this business to look like. You know what I'm saying? And you already have a vision. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told, everyone else. You got to create that vision and make it big for you. Because, when I think about, and I'll show you, let me give you an example. Because you're in a place that a lot of people don't get to see. You're doing something that you love. You understand how much money you can make, but it hasn't necessarily become yours just yet, not fully. And you have the ability to make it yours in a short period of time, but there are things that you can do to start prepping for that to take place. Now, I'm a very spiritual person, and so I'm only telling you things that I've done that I know that work. Okay, so what you have to do is start building the company now as if you have the vehicle now, period, point blank. I don't care if you don't have the vehicle. You want to legalize the business. You want to get a name for your business. You want to get a brand. I'm going to tell you the same thing, a logo for your business. We want to start getting a website up for the business. You want to start even talking to people about the business as if you already have this car. Because that's how you'll get the car faster, first of all. But it'll also allow you to start building the relationships that you want that will help take you to the next level, which is you saying going to the airports and different things like that. You're going to need that, right? So that's something that you want to start looking at doing now. And the reality is that we don't want to wait until the car gets here to start working on things we can do right now. So if we know that this is what we're going to do, and I say we because my spirit says you're going to do it, right? So if you know that this is what you're going to do, then it's going to be very important that you start putting things into play now, so that you can make this thing happen as fast as possible. And that's really one of the ways that you get to change, that you get to control your reality. Is about putting things into play and it's almost kind of forcing it to happen. You're just putting it out there. I don't know how else to explain it. I don't know if it sounds weird, but it's what you do.
Actually, it really doesn't sound weird. And I know you're right on. I know that in making the plan, I've got to make the long range goal and the short range goals, and that's about in the area that you're touching on. So You're absolutely correct.
And you'll have fun in the process. I always tell people, don't make it a daunting task. This is the pregnancy stage. If it was a real baby, you're preparing for the launch, the birth. And so these are the things that you do. If you have a baby coming, you start to shift your money differently. You start to make more sacrifices. You start to,
Indeed. Don't talk about it, my baby. She got 30 children.
No way. Are you serious?
Boy, you ain't even true.
Don't pull my leg like that. Okay.
No, actually, he's telling you the truth.
Okay. Listen, I have 3, and I have to admit, I was probably a problem child. I have the best 3 children in the world, and people don't even, they're like, I don't even know how you got away with that. I have the greatest kids ever, so I don't know.
Well, I think I was probably a problem child too, but being raised by a stepmother, I got away with quite a bit. But then I got jealous because being with the other kids who had reins and control, and I didn't have it, and I was somewhat jealous.
Okay.
But then the spirit that I had a free spirit, so I learned quite a bit.
You know, we change over time. Listen, we change over time, and we, you know, that's the beauty. I think that's one of the things that I love about life is that, you know, you get to, experience things and see what works and what doesn't. And,
absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubt, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
It makes you a better person. It really does.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Well, I hope I was able to help a little bit.
Oh, you helped out quite a bit, and I do appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. With this so far, where are you at in this process?
Okay, well, so far what I did was I basically, I did flagging for a little while or whatever. So, and then I ended up figuring it out. How easy it is pretty much to get the company actually started. And so I took every step to actually get the company, the foundation of the company, as far as getting the name, getting my EIN number. Going down, right now register. I didn't know you have to register as a minority. I'm registering as a minority and everything else and getting that settled. And so pretty much the only thing I'll be looking for is contracts, and I got to, get my money up inside the bank for my business account and everything else to put people on payroll.
Okay, so you're in a great place. I love it. So let me ask you a few things. Do you have a web presence? First question. We're in 2015. A web presence. Do you have a website?
No, I don't. I haven't created a website yet.
Okay. So you want to start thinking about what you want your website and your logo to look like. As far as your contracts, what type of organizations are you involved with, or groups or networking groups that have the people that you want to do business with in, if that makes sense? Does that make sense?
Well, that makes perfect sense. I actually worked construction since I'm 27 now, by the way, but since I was 18, I actually worked in the construction field. I was a carpenter. I'm still registered as a carpenter, and I have bosses that retired and everything else that, was like, man, once you figure out and you really want to do this, because I ended up getting caught up in a bad situation. I had a DUI, and it was a car accident when I was 21.
Okay.
And that ended up sending me to prison.
Okay.
And so when I got out of prison, I had to start, all the way over from scratch, without, just pretty much I just had people support as far as, emotional type support. I didn't really have, other than that, everybody saying they feel bad. That's all I really had. So I went from there. I took the drug and alcohol class. I went, I did everything I had to do to get these people off my back. They realized real quick that, this is somebody we ain't even got to worry about. And, so, I've been going from there, and I've been just reaching out to my old bosses. They all been like, they pumped up. They was sick about the situation that happened to me, the unfortunate situation and everything. And I got, it's, Western Partition. I don't know if you, familiar with them?
Say it again, the Western Partition?
Oh, yeah. Western Partition, the corporation, called WPI.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, it's like they're like basically I think they're the number 2 biggest company in Oregon right now. They're right underneath Hoffman.
Okay.
Yeah, in construction, and yeah, I reached out to a couple of them guys. They willing to support me and put my name out there as far as, once I get everything in place. So I don't want to come back at them and I don't have everything like pretty much ready to go. Because when they send me to somebody or to talk to somebody, it's gonna be like on some
serious business, right?
No.
Serious business. So yeah, so definitely one of the bigger things that you want to do is you want to make sure that you have your brand in place, because you're not dealing with some small rinky-dink company. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with a major brand. So we want to make sure you have a strong logo. We want to make sure that your website looks great. We want to make sure that you have your business cards. And I think in this particular instance, it would be important for you to have either some type of brochure, which is kind of old school, or some type of PowerPoint presentation or online video, which kind of puts you up to date a little bit more. So as you're meeting with people and you're in these meetings, you can really kind of let that video, which tells what your service does, you can let that do the selling for you. And so all you have to do is just bring your personality to the table, because at the end of the day, people do business with people they like, right? So, so you can let your technology around you talk about what value you bring to a company, and ultimately the value you want to bring is saving them time and saving them money. I do want to just throw something at you. As you're networking and you're meeting with people at these large companies, I do want you to make sure that you're reaching out to, or you're developing relationships with, the chief financial officers, okay? And that's really important, because they're the people who really decide, how much money is going to be spent in a company, and, who really kind of gets the contract. They really are like bigger than the CEO in a lot of instances, because they manage the money. So like as you're going through and you're meeting businesses and meeting professionals, and you're asking for referrals, because you should always be asking for referrals. This is your baby, okay, this business. So every time you meet someone, you should, what do you do? Oh, da-da-da-da. By the way, would you happen to know somebody who works at such and such and such? I'm really trying to get in the door. The reality is if you want something to happen, you've got to go out and kind of grab it to just kind of push it along. Most people sit back and they just wait for life to give them something. But you have the ability to take it and control it. And people don't realize they can do that. And so just do it. You know what I'm saying? You got to just do it. And it'll really, you'll see things just start to come into play.
Yeah, I hear everything. I hear exactly what you're saying, and I hear about it as far as especially the relationships you got to build with people and things like that. And that's another thing about me is my whole time when I was working for these companies, I'm always because as the jobs start slowing down, they lay people off.
Yeah.
And they start laying off from the people that they feel like that they really don't need no more, and they keep the last people to the end. I was always the last guy. I mean, due to my personality, due to my work ethic,
I love that.
Due to my drive, I'm always, and that's why he was really feeling for me, and he really reached out, and he was really glad to hear that I'm actually, kind of tired of just always, working for somebody and trying to really do something, put forth all that drive I got, into something that I can actually claim as mine.
Lee, something in me is telling me to tell you this. So I have to do it. I'm like waiting for you to finish talking. If you have like a little cousin or a little nephew or some little dude that you hang out with that you trust and you think would be a good fit to kind of come in and represent your business, get some kind of young guy up under you to kind of manage your online world, because I think that will help you, because if you're in person, if you're able to build those type of relationships, you want somebody that's on the other end of the battlefield make, ready, armed and ready, to get the word out as well. And you got to think about things from a very different perspective. Just like you're 27 and you're looking to do this and get into this industry, there are a lot of other young people out there that are just like you that want to do the same thing. And so you want to be able to relate to them, and they're online. We're transitioning from the old world, and, we're diving into this online world, and I don't want you to miss anything, because there's an old school kind of way, and then there's a new school, and they're merging. CEOs and CFOs are now 17 years old, running billion-dollar companies. Yeah, so it's serious business now, yeah.
Yeah, you want to live on both ends of the world so you can get best of both worlds.
Exactly. Well, I hope I was able to help out a little bit this evening.
Well, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I hope I was able to help out a little bit this evening.
Oh, you really were. I mean, I wrote down everything you were just talking about, and as far as like the website and everything else, and I'm about to get on all of that and try to make sure I can kind of take hold. And I want, like I said, I want to have everything in place before I, present anything to somebody, especially when you're talking about meeting a higher power.
Exactly. And listen, your spirit will guide you in the right direction. I really do want you to give me a call, because there are some things, like, for one, I could definitely help you out with that website. But two, I would like to see you kind of build, you in a great niche market. And I would like to see you build your brand around your market in a very dynamic way. There are a lot of things you can do with this business. And one of the things is adding on the paint, the highway paint. Like, if you're doing the flagging, it would make so much sense to also be able to provide that. And that's something that's of a niche, but I think it would go great with you. So I want to talk to you a little bit more at a later date, if possible.
Absolutely, we can. I'll be giving you a call, and you can, if you still got my number, you can call me any time. If I do miss your call, I'll get back to you as soon as I catch it.
Okay, great.
And we can keep going, and I want to build it as high as possible too, and make it a good outlook for everybody.
Okay, awesome. Well, I look forward to speaking with you, definitely.
All right, you'll be hearing from me.
All right, awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Something wrong?
No, you did good. So you're not at Brother Kenny's house?
No, I couldn't make it.
Oh, I didn't know that. So he can't turn his camera on.
I'm seeing that he is online, though.
I know, but he can't see. I mean, I've been trying to see him all night. Everybody's been there. I've talked to a whole bunch of people. I've been on this call for about an hour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I had a question. So how does one find the growers doing the medical marijuana tapping? How does you find the particular growers, like to be a cutter or to supply cutters or pickers? Those type of people are kind of very low key.
Yeah, they are, and they're going to continue to be until it's legal on a federal level. I mean, you're really going to have to get out there and search. Now, let me tell you this: there are, and I don't know if I should actually say this, but there are some search engines out there, and that are kind of I don't want to say secret, but kind of like covert, and people know, but they don't know. But you can surf underground. And it's a real black market out there in real life, and you can go out there and meet.
I mean, I used to cut when I was in Oakland.
Yeah.
So I knew a couple down there, but let's say if I took advantage of doing that up here, so could I still supply cutters to those people down there if I'm here? Or
I don't think so. I think you would have to have more than one location in this instance, I believe. Just because right now, because it's not regulated the way it really needs to be, I would be very careful, and I would also ask an attorney. I don't want to answer that 100% fully. But I know that each state has their own rules and regulations. And so when you're talking about cross placements, or taking a business, like I want to do a call center business, that's something that's so general that I could do it in any state. But when I'm talking about the delivery, I'm going to California to learn there, but my laws here are going to be very different. So I may even have to legalize the business in 2 different states. I don't know just yet,
Okay.
But getting in contact with them, one of the big things that you have to do, I can tell you, is you got to be at like every cannabis conference there is. So, the next one that I am attending or attempting is the Cannabis Cup in April. That is the biggest event in the cannabis industry. And it is, and I'm actually, a couple of my clients want to come. And so we're all just going to go down there and meet people. And that's where you get an idea of what's, overground and underground, and you kind of get to know what's going on, and the people are out there. That was the one thing when I got certified. That was the one thing that they told me. They said, if you want to do anything in this business, you got to get out there to every networking event. And so my goal this year is to fly all over the country and to just hit every cannabis event just to get my name and my face out there beyond YouTube. Also, that's another thing that you can really do is, advertise, just put it out there looking for experienced growers. Now, the thing about, going out there and looking for growers and looking for, most employers per se won't hire a grower if they don't have legal experience. Or, the same thing with the cutting. So, you got to be careful around that. Everybody has their own rules, but some companies don't even care,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the, here we are talking about, this is the Cannabis Cup, and it's pretty cool because, I'm going to just move my screen over. It's pretty cool because, it does a lot. This year, every year they have somebody cool there. This year they're having Nas and Snoop Dogg. I'm not familiar with 2 Chainz. I'm kind of old school. I still listen to like the old school station. I don't even know who this guy is either, but I'm sure he's somebody's really popular.
So I mean, I'm really interested in this medical marijuana venture. I mean, my main thing is photography, but I'm around a lot of cannabis. I helped my friend open up his cannabis shop on Killingsworth.
Oh, awesome.
I helped him, put the wood counters in. We paint the walls, stain the wood. Helped him find a couple people that were good with the plants that I knew. Mm-hmm. I've never really got deep into the cannabis world, but I know people here in Oregon.
Yeah.
So I kind of helped him with that, but then I kind of just did my own thing, my photography thing. But now, seeing this and seeing what he's been able to do on Killingsworth, I'm really, really interested in trying to get a piece of that.
I want to show you something.
Industry.
I want to show you something that I don't know where my. Oh yeah, I'm not doing that. I wanted to show you, but what I would do is take a class. Sometimes they're very inexpensive, like $200-300. It's worth the investment. And my manual is about that thick. And I took a class and got certified, and they teach you everything. And then you get out there and you start talking to people. When you take that class off the break, you're like, your wheels are going to just start spinning. And you really want to see what's out there and what's not. To be honest with you, I think that, I think in a box when it comes to the cannabis industry to some degree compared to what some of these people are doing. My Twitter goes crazy in the cannabis space. They're making mobile apps. they're taking, they're taking the actual product, the OG Kush and all that, and doing crazy things with it, and they're partnering with rappers. They know that sells. They're creating special little things. What do you call those, bongs? And I don't know. I have a product over here somewhere that somebody gave me. They're called Cannapacks, and you can't smell the marijuana. They have a sealed pack. Yeah,
packages.
Yeah. So there's so many things. You can get into this business and you don't even have to touch the product. To me, in my opinion, it's much riskier when you're touching the product than when you're working around the product. And one of the bigger challenges that they're having right now is security. That's another thing. If you really wanted to get into this industry, I don't know if I would start out touching the product. I would start out around the product and then grow into the product later. Because right now there are no banks that are federally holding this money. And so there are a lot of people that are driving these armored cars and that are going around. People are out. I have a staffing agency client right now in Colorado. They have taken their staffing agency to the business to the next level. They've partnered to offer armored car to their clients, lodging to their clients' guests, all types. I could say they've just taken this thing to another level. So there's a lot you could do.
So what about when it comes to because I know a lot of people are looking for a space to kind of smoke their stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know the rules around that, but that would be an interesting thing to do. Do you have to be on the go all the time for that, or what are the rules? Something like a minivan to supply to certain stores, or
for the mobile piece? Well, I think so first of all, each state has their own rules. So you have to look at the state that you're talking about doing this in. Each county even sometimes have their own rules. In California, there are some parts of California you can do certain things in some parts of California and certain things you can't do in other parts. Some parts of California even say that you can't even have a dispensary in the area. So you have to figure out, you have to talk to an attorney to figure out what the laws are in the area that you're looking to start this business. And I'll just say this before I go further. When I took my course, the first thing they said is, if you're going to get into this industry, you got to build a team. And that team has to start with an attorney and an accountant who knows the cannabis industry. That's also another reason why you want to network, right? Okay, so to answer your question, oh my gosh, I think it would be an amazing idea to have a smoke bus, right? Or I tell you that you already know in Colorado it's big business to have a bartender and a bud tender, and now they have these smoke parties where instead of going to the club and you get drunk, you go to the club and you get high, So they have, I think that this world is your oyster, and the more unique it is, the bigger it'll be.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to do a total of a month in Amsterdam. So I'm kind of seeing how the coffee shops work.
Yes.
Some of the restaurants work over there.
Yes.
A person could walk in, order a cup of coffee, and then buy a 75-cent split.
Yeah.
Smoke it in the lounge and it would be cool.
Exactly.
But I know the rules over here is totally different. So I would have to speak to a lawyer for that to see what would be the smoking rules indoors, especially if it's medicated.
Well, medicated. So the marijuana that you're gonna that they would be that would be medicated though, right? No. You said especially if it's medicated.
Well, in terms of the if they have a medical smoke lounge.
Oh, you're thinking of a medical smoke lounge, but why a medical one and not just a smoke lounge?
A regular smoke lounge would be nice. I'm just thinking because right now in Oregon, it's not totally recreational.
Oh, it will be Washington. Though. It will be. They're gonna federal
in Washington right now.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why I would love to get involved with this, because Vancouver's is right across the river.
in Washington, they're doing really bad in that industry. I mean, I don't know why, but they're doing really bad. They're like, Colorado's booming, Washington is going downhill. It wasn't as popular in Washington as they thought it was going to be. But if you open it up in a place like Vegas that's about to go legal, you know, and I mean, the world is about to be your oyster anyway, because they're gonna, once they do it federally, you're gonna be able to do it anywhere. I mean, I'm going for the vending machines. I want one in every gas station in America. Because I'm telling you, like, I had an opportunity to have an ATM, and the guy was like, $2,000, D. That's all. I'm not giving you my money, you know. And they're like, put them in the gas stations. I'm like, nobody's gonna put an ATM in the gas station. That sounds ridiculous. And now they're in like every gas station. I'm like, oh heck no. The moment I found out they had vending machines for the oh, it's on. It's on.
Yeah. I'll see my queen.
Oh, you've been watching. So what's your idea, Brother Kenny? Because you haven't said anything all night. So what's your idea?
My idea is to push this more science thing across the universe.
I like it.
That's my idea. I talked to headquarters today on some of the things that you want to do as far as the auxiliary stuff.
Yes.
And you know, like I'm saying, I'm 72 years old, so I'm just set with the more science. Now, the other thing I'm doing is I'm trying to let people know that there is a better way, and they can become self-sufficient if they just think outside the box. And you've been an asset already with that, even tonight, you know. But my thing is, I'm gonna have to find out. And after I talked to you tonight, I had to rethink some of my thoughts when I was talking about advertisements, or you know. So I need to get my foundation a little stronger. But I go to sleep dreaming, wake up 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about how to make this thing jump, because I got to make it jump.
I know that's right. So, Brother Kenny, there's a lot of things that I want to do with you. So let me show you some of the things that I was thinking about for you. I have to give you special stuff. I gotta save the special stuff for you. So one of the things that I'm putting up on my screen, like, I think that you bring people in. Your personality is so warm. You bring people in. I think people should have the opportunity to be able to connect with you on a very different level. So when they come to your website, I want them to be able to talk to you. You know, not just send you an email, but to be able to comment based on the things that that you have on your website. That can really be your world. You know, you tell me things, the same things you probably tell Marquise, which is the same thing you probably tell Brother Jackson Bay or whoever. But imagine if you had the ability to sit down where you are right now, maybe once a week, right? Twice a week, and you're sitting in front of the camera and you're talking to people just like you're talking to me, sharing your message. Or you're typing out, your thoughts on something in particular. Even teaching us, because you teach me. So next, have that book that you want me to read, have a little article around it, or write something. D, you want to read this book because it talks about blah, 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 blah. And I think that everything that you want to do about sharing your message is right at your fingertips. And then we can talk about monetizing, because you definitely have to monetize. You need a YouTube channel. You need your own little space where you're not just a guest on other people's shows, but you have the ability to control the topic. And I talk to you every day. You never run out of things to talk about. So I think that's a great thing. And you talk to so many people that you will be able to have. Brother Kenny, you should have your own show versus being on somebody else's show, and not just guiding the conversation. But one of the things I can tell that you like doing is connecting people, you know, with truthful messages or good people. Like you're this, like, I don't know how to explain, like this bonding kind of, I don't know, Marquise, help me. I don't know. But you know, you're a magnet, right? That too. So you gotta be able to talk to people and touch them in a different way. And I think that, you know, the website is just one way to get the conversation started. But you have a lot to say. And like you said, you're going to be here till you're 120. You got a lot of work to do, buddy.
I do, sir. But like I said, some of the things that they're not doing on the East Coast that they could be doing. If I can just, I'm trying to create something where I can start getting the people in Portland. Cause, I mean, I can just know West Corner, we really need to unite. And so, I like what you say about the YouTube and the unite, you know, the uniting of things. I don't know, like I'm saying, I don't know business. I just know that, I used to go down to the African village every year.
Yeah.
And when I went down there, they gave me a title. They used to call me the door opener. So, and I believe that, and I you know, that's what I like doing. I like, you know, helping people get their benefits. I like helping people learn more science. I mean, I just like to, that's where I get my energy from. If I wake up and they ain't got nobody to help and nobody to do nothing, I think I'd be gone tomorrow.
Okay, okay.
I like the door opener.
I love the door opener. I love that, and I'm going to incorporate that into your website, just so you know. And I think that we definitely have to look at you helping the people with the benefits. You know, that website is designed to grow. I put it on its own WordPress platform so that you can take this thing as large as your brain will allow it to go. That's how we'll build it out. So for the benefits, we can create a page where, you know, that you can give people instruction and they can download the benefits and they can pay you and it'll go to you. And you don't even have to talk to them if you don't need to.
Wow.
Okay, so that's an option, you know, so you can, that's another way. See, I like that because in my opinion, if we're going to grow this Moorish nation, everybody has to be an entrepreneur. It can't just be the nation, you know, everybody has, because that's how it grows. And if everybody has some type of gift, and I don't understand why people don't do it. I really don't, the dots don't connect for me. But everybody knows something that somebody else doesn't know. We are literally in the information age. People buy information, and it could be something so small. You know, I just tell people whatever you know really well, you know how to do really, really good, like with like your eyes closed, write it down, put it in a book, and sell it. And you can create something even greater around it. And Brother Kenny, if this benefits thing is your thing, you can have that and talk about more science. And you can, Brother Kenny, you are an entertainer in my eyes as well. So I would love to see you in the front of a camera. I would love to be on a camera with you, and our energy just like going back and forth. That would be so crazy. Okay. I mean, that would just be so cool, right? So, lyric. So, she's dying to get in front of this camera. Stop trying to harass me. That's Marquise right there who left the message. And then Brother Kenny is there, his son and his wife. They're all over there. I know, but they don't have the camera on.
What?
I know.
So Brother Kenny, see this?
I do.
That's a book I've already shot. Well, some of it. So,
that's awesome. So how many pages is it?
Right here, this is, I think, like 100 some pages.
That's crazy.
This is the basketball book.
Like, open it. You're going to open? Oh, it's amazing. I love that. I love that.
So stuff like that.
And what does it say? What did I tell me? What's this say?
Where did you learn?
Where did you learn? I love that. Okay, go ahead.
So there's just different images like this.
Okay. So you have a great eye. And you like stone and brick, right? I see that a lot.
I have a whole lot more that I haven't printed out. Like when I went to New York and when I went to Texas, other states. So I still have to go down south. I haven't shot down south yet. So I need to go in places.
So are you in love with lighting?
Yeah, all this is like natural light also.
I can see that was beautiful. The one with the trees, you could see like the different shades of light as you walk through the different parts of the path. That was awesome. Yeah, I like that too.
And also, I have a couple of them like canvas. Basketball players whenever I get a chance.
Where's that at? Where's that at?
That's the building right here.
Say it again.
That's the building at the waterfront.
What's behind that back there, though?
That's the bridge, yeah.
Oh, the bridge. Okay. It looked like a prison from a distance. I was just checking. I just want to make sure. Oh, I love that. I love the bricks. I love bricks. So in photography, it's awesome. I love that too. So are you exposing the film? Are you developing the photos as well?
A lot of these are shot digitally.
Okay.
So there's a couple in here that are like filmed, like this one.
Okay.
This one has been used with Nike. Nike's used this one a couple times.
I could see that. I mean, I could see that kind of Nike kind of feel. That's awesome. So how did you create that relationship to be able to provide something like that to Nike?
What happened was, in my process of shooting the project, I was interviewing different basketball players. And so those different basketball players would just connect me with just different people. And so a lot of people here in Portland work for Nike, work for Adidas. So that was kind of easy. So, Kevin Garnett, he's used like 5 or 6 of them. And he used 11 of them. And we used them as banquet awards on bamboo wood to give to all his coaches.
Wow.
So, it has the potential of like going around the world. So if I just have to get down south. I have to go to Chicago and a little more on the East Coast. But then the bigger theme of this whole book is to go around the world, and I can compile a couple of these books. And one thing that I've noticed when I present them, kids love this type of book. They love this as posters. They love it as canvas artwork. The adults love it as canvas artwork and as posters, books. I've even had a couple on T-shirts.
So your blueprint is so big. What are you doing with this? Like the T-shirts.
So that's the thing. That's why I need funding for my photography company, so I can make T-shirts, canvas stuff, the posters.
But Marquise, you don't. You really don't. Not the way you think you do, because you already have, like, you can let what your work right now generate that money that you need. You keep saying funding, but it can be your funding, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, but I need the space in the printer. And then there's
outsource initially.
Other cities.
Outsource initially. outsource initially. Brother Kenny, what are you doing over there? Hold on. Brother Kenny, what are you doing over there? Are you blowing your nose? Like,
Oh,
what is that noise?
oh, my phone. I'll be back to you. I guess my phone is clicking.
Michael, what are you doing over there? So, like, I mean, I think that you really have the ability, and I don't know everything, but what I'm saying to you is that you really do have the ability to grow this thing and to get the money that you need without going to get funding, you know, and you can create what you want without going to get that funding, that it'll work it for you. So for instance, I mean, it's all you have to do is small things too, and it's all about your brand as well. I mean, I don't know if you're going to use your name or alias name. I told you had 24 hours before I purchased your name, and I went back and noticed you didn't do anything with it. You know, so I'll give you a buffer of another 24 hours, but this will be my final warning, because the reality is one day Marquise Johnson Bay is going to be like this famous person, and you're gonna have to buy that domain for me for at least 10 grand. So you might want to buy it now while you can, because I'm just telling you off the break, I'm going to go and buy it. Just all right. Now, with that said, around whatever brand you're going to create, you know, right now you don't even realize that you already have stock in your name. That's the part that I don't think that you realize. How many people, you're in Portland, yes, but how many artists or photographers all over the world are dying to get in the door with a company such as Nike? And the fact that you can say that Kevin Garnett has used your photography, or the fact that you can say that Nike has used your photography, and you have stock in your brand already, you just don't know how, or you just haven't found the I don't know, whatever that blank word is, to take it to the next level. This is, in my opinion, and I say this in the most respectful way possible, you're stuck on what you think you need, which is funding, and that's the last thing that you need, because you are the funding. So it's really about you changing your mindset. Really, that's it. I mean,
well, so what I've done so far, like I'll do the street events. I'll solicit the agencies that have ties with Nike. But then what kind of sets me back is the traveling part to get to the next city, to go shoot the more hoops, to add to the portfolio, to complete the project.
Okay, let's get you a crowdfunding campaign going on. If you don't want to get a crowdfunding campaign going on, how about you hire somebody that's dynamic over the phone to represent you, and to have people book you. I mean, listen, like a PR person to book the world-renowned Marquise Johnson Bay, who does photography for blah, blah, blah. And I mean, all you have to do, Marquise, is create a brand for yourself. You already have a crap load of stock. People will pay you to travel. Do you think that I pay for my own travel anywhere ever? Ever.
No.
Never.
Well, yeah.
Ever.
Depending on what I'm shooting, I won't pay for my travel either.
So you can go anywhere that you want to go or do. You like, don't put any boundaries around what you want to do. You just gotta create the plan and then start putting things into action and just be innovative. Listen, if I was you, I would be my own PR person and call myself John Jackson, and I'm representing the one and only Marquise Johnson. And listen, he's going to be he's interested in doing some photography with you. Check out the website. This is his portfolio. When you need this type of artwork or this type of direction, he's the person you want to call. Not just that, I would be on the phone with every concierge to every movie agency, company, what have you, anybody who deals with photography, to let them know that this is something that you do and that you're on board. It's all about really creating a plan around what you want to do. Once you start, the time that you're putting in to think about funding, you spend 3 months doing that, right? Those 3 months, you could just be building relationships and talking to people. And I promise you, it won't even be 3 months before you see things start to kick off and you end up in cities that you never thought you'd be in, taking shots you never thought you'd be taking, and, you know, hopefully say, hey, D, thanks a million in the process. I don't know. But I mean, it's possible. Brother Kenny, what are you doing over there?
I'm just smiling. I was every time you hear the good note, I see how the head just, the eyes just sparkles, and I'm just smiling. I'm just looking at Byron and smiling, man. Oh, gee.
Oh, that's nice.
I just have been on track. It's my quiz.
Yeah.
When you say what you say about the I know some, my next door neighbor across the street.
Yeah.
Remind me the next time, well, this weekend, to introduce you to her. Okay. Because you know a lot of people that's off into that cutting stuff.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. And then there's another issue of, like, I'm trying to figure out, you know, how to bind. I mean, I know how to bind the book, but I guess it's it's going to be pretty expensive to bind that book.
Do you know that for sure? Do you know that to be factual?
What, to bind the book?
Yes. Do you know that to be factual, that it's going to be very expensive to bind the book?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so how many quotes have you gotten? Are they all only in your local area? Are they nationwide? Are they worldwide?
Local.
Okay, so you might want to stretch your radius, because there are resources everywhere. There are no boundaries in 2015 ever. You are the only person that puts those boundaries on yourself. That's all I can say. Anything that you can possibly imagine that you want or need at a cheap, they give them cheap, luxury, elite, everything comes in a niche today. So just keep looking. It's out there. You can find somebody who may personally, I mean, look for that. Look for somebody who takes pride in doing nothing but personally binding books. They may only charge you $50 because it's their passion. Do not put boundaries on anything. Never say this is a challenge. Okay, because that says off the break that you've already decided it's going to be hard. But you have to just even word it differently and think about it differently. I guarantee you there are no boundaries. There's nothing that you cannot do with this thing. You need a new printer. All you got to do is put it out in the atmosphere. And somebody will be like, hey, Marquise, I got this printer. You know anybody? I don't have any space for it. Could you hold it for? I mean, it's this stuff like that really happens. It's like crazy. It's crazy. So you can't, when you say that this is a challenge, then you're like automatically pushing your blessings or whatever, away from you. So you just got to know, I'm waiting on my printer, D. In the process of while I'm waiting on my printer, I'm waiting for somebody who's going to hand bind my book for about $175. Do you know anybody? Oh, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to change your wording so that what you want to happen, what you want to come to you will like really come for real in real life.
Got it. Understandable. Got it.
I know this sounds kooky, but it really does work.
No, it does work. But, it is all how you word it. Definitely.
It is. So, you got to be careful with those things. And but when you start to think about it and really start to take it in on a consistent basis, I had to train myself to get to where I am today. But, it really does take, I'm going to do this business. I tell people all the time about I always talk about Costa Rica, my office in Costa Rica. I was like, people would say I lied, but I didn't lie. I believed in my heart that I was going to have an office in Costa Rica. And I'd say, oh yeah, my office in Costa Rica. And I'd say, oh, you have an office? Well, yeah, in my mind I do. And then one day this guy calls me from Costa Rica. And he's like, Dee, like, I saw you online. You're like this amazing lady. I need an office in the United States because I have a contract. And I was wondering, would you be willing to share your U.S. office with me? And I'll share my Costa Rica office. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, it was great. and then he gave me like a tour, and he took like the land. I was like, that's fabulous! You know, I was like so excited. And I had just been talking about it, and like, I got a Costa Rica, and I really now have one. So it just, and I haven't even gone to see it in person. That's on my agenda this year. But I have an office there, and so anything is possible. You just can't put any boundaries. Say it again.
So you better get down there.
I know. I see it all the time, though. I mean, it's like, and we're in business, but I mean, just don't put any boundaries on anything.
But this is the same thing that I want to do. That I'm gonna do with the Moors also.
I cannot wait for that, because like we need creatives. Like that's the heartbeat of who we are, you know. Listen, I sound like Brother Kenny right now.
Yeah. So my thing with the Moors right now is that I'm trying to not only find the wording, but the right, I guess, package, so that I can, like, if I photograph a Moor here in Portland, and then some Moors want me in Alabama, but I want to formulate this group package so that I can come there and shoot all of them for, like, this group package, and then go to the next city, and then to the next city. You know what I mean? So it's like a tempo package, actually. Boom, 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 boom.
That would be nice. So
yeah.
That would be nice. I mean, I think that's great. And so is it going to be its own separate brand? So like I can see your blueprint in so many ways. Like, again, I think, Marquise, the only thing that you're missing is just developing a brand for yourself, you know, and I think that if you invested in that, you would see your stock rise. And I think that the way you invest in yourself is going to be super important, in the way you present yourself, like really having a nice logo, and then naming each line, each brand for your photography. You know, the such and such, the Moor line, the blah, blah, blah. But then also you could either have a separate business, or you can add an addition to that where you do have the group photography for Moors. You may do group photography for the schools. So you have that one also. So you want to offer services, so you could do just regular photography. People like me, you know, I may want to I don't know if you do personal photography, but you may want to do those types of things as well. I mean, there are a lot of things that you could do to compile stories that in many different ways, and grow your brand out in so many different ways. I do also want you to put on your radar, you know, the idea of reprints on a lot of your work. Reprints, duplicating your work, because if you're already doing bits and pieces of that, like, just start looking overseas. I don't normally tell people this, but sometimes outsourcing a job that big may come out in the beginning a lot less expensive, and just enough for you to get your money in, and then to you know, roll into something totally different. Also, when you look into your website, look into some of the t-shirt building companies that integrate into your website, where all you do is provide the design, but you know, the person.
So the company I'm talking to right now is, so my website is being constructed through Viewbook. And through Viewbook, we have the partnership with Photomoto. So
awesome.
Now as I'm building my site, I have a buy link then Photomoto will print the image, whatever I price it at, on whatever material the customer chooses. So it can be a certain poster paper or a certain canvas. So it's just a matter of figuring out those prices of where I want those at, and they can get any copy they want to. But I would really, really like to have copies on hand, so just wherever I set up at, people can get those poster shots or whatever.
Not just that, that's a major piece that we're missing. Like, you need to be submitting your photos to all the stock photo companies as well and making your money. I buy stock photos every day, actually, and I pay a crap load of money for them as a creative. And anybody that's developing websites, anybody that's doing graphic design or whatever the case may be, they are needing stock photos. And you have thousands of photos. Like, it's no reason for you not to take these photos. If you're going to reprint them anyway, then you definitely should be taking these photos and really selling them online. That's what L'Rare New York is all about. I just have a platform that's specific to African Americans, but mine isn't launched yet and ready. So why not take this opportunity and submit them to every stock photo site that, you know, that offers, so that you're leveraging your brand and you're also building your brand, doing that as well. So you have 123RF, you have Shutterstock, you've got Getty Images, you've got that could bring in revenue for you right now. That could be some of the funding money that you're looking for. You're talking about funding, you have it. It's like right there, you know. It's just going to take a little bit of your effort to just go in there, see what their rules are. And my internet line is slow right now, but see what their rules are for submissions. And a lot of times, I mean, you have everything that you need. People pay, like Getty Images, a crap load of money, you know, for a photo. And like that basketball one, I would totally use that for one of my motivational marketing videos, or one of my motivational marketing, you know, social media posts, or a blog, you know, or a PowerPoint presentation. I would purchase that in a heartbeat, and you would get paid every time I did that. Or create your own photo gallery. Like, you know, there's a couple of other companies online. People have their own. Like, it's so much you could do.
Okay.
You got money signals all around you, too. You just don't see them.
That's because I'm busy creating more and more.
Well, you got to grab some of the ones you have so that you don't feel like you need more. Because they're there and they're waiting on you. And, you know, all you got to do is grab them. And, like, then those challenges that you keep talking about, they'll go away. And you'll have better challenges. Like, I have more clients than hands, you know, or whatever. So, I mean, you can do some great things. So this was, it just came up, but this is one of the sites, you know, the 123. This is the one I use the most. But, you know, you just go in and they tell you you're a contributor right there. Sell your images. And it can be your videos, it can be your photography, you know, whatever you have. And then you earn, it tells you how much you've earned, how much you can make. And, you know, I'm just giving you like a piece of all the things that you can do. But this is definitely one of the ways, you know, that you can earn, you know, your own money. And then you can send referrals out for people to buy your artwork, I mean, your photography and so forth, and then you'll earn even more money. Good night, I love you.
That's sweet.
So like that's just, you know, just an example. And there are a ton of them. And they're saying I put in stock photos 367 million companies. So, Marquise, what if you could just contact 1 million or, you know, 500,000 or maybe even just 10? But my point is that, you know, the opportunity is there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. So I'm hanging up for the evening. Brother Kenny, I'll call you like in a second just to say good night. Marquise, I really appreciate you supporting the call. That's pretty cool. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
And y'all guys, you have a great night. Bye, Miss May.
All right. Good night, D.
All right, good night. Good night. Good night.
Thank you. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right, bye-bye.